Japan is on the edge of a very important historical moment. For a long time, the country's politics has been mostly led by men. But now, a big change is coming. On October 21, 2025, Japan's parliament is ready to choose Sanae Takaichi as the country's first female prime minister. This event will be a huge step for women in Japan. It will break the highest barrier for women in Japanese politics, which is sometimes called the glass ceiling. This big achievement, however, does not happen because of new progressive ideas. Instead, it comes during a time of big trouble for Japan's government. The world's fourth largest economy has been facing many problems and much uncertainty. Takaichi is coming to power right in the middle of this difficult political crisis. Sanae Takaichi is a 64-year-old leader with conservative views. This means she often supports traditional ways and ideas for Japan's society and its government. Even though she holds these traditional ideas, her rise to the top job is truly unique. She is a woman breaking important barriers in a society where women have often been held back in leadership roles. Japan is known for its strong traditional structures, and Takaichi's journey shows a mix of old and new. This blend of tradition and breaking new ground makes her a very interesting figure on the world stage. Her story is quite unusual and full of surprising details. For example, she was once a heavy metal drummer, playing music that is often seen as rebellious. She also loved riding powerful motorcycles. These parts of her past do not easily fit with the serious image of a top politician, but they show her strong will and independent spirit, traits she will need in her new role. She will now lead Japan through many hard challenges. Her election is important because it marks a first for the country, inspiring some and surprising others. It will show how a woman can lead a nation that has mostly been guided by men. Many people will be watching her closely to see what she does in this new and powerful role. She will have to deal with many issues, from the economy to international relationships. This book will look at her life and her plans for Japan as she steps into this historic but uncertain time. 2. A big problem in Japan. Japan's government faced a very big problem. The country was in a deep political crisis. People were not happy with the ruling party, called the Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP. This party had led Japan for many years, almost without a break, since 1955. Public trust was low, and many felt the government was not addressing their concerns. This created widespread discontent across the nation. The LDP suffered important election losses. First, in October 2024, they lost their majority in the lower house of Parliament. Then, in July 2025, they lost control of the upper house too. These defeats showed that many people no longer trusted the LDP. Voters wanted change, and they used their votes to show their strong disapproval of the ruling party's actions and policies. One major reason for this anger was a big money scandal. This problem started in late 2023. It showed that some LDP groups had hidden money for years. They used fundraising parties to collect money, but did not report all of it. Hundreds of millions of yen went into secret funds. This made people very angry about corruption within the government. Also, prices for everyday goods, like rice, went up a lot, making life harder for families and adding to public frustration. Because of these big problems and the election losses, the old prime minister had to leave his job. His name was Shigeru Ishiba. He had been prime minister for only about a year. He faced a lot of pressure from inside his own party to resign. He stepped down after the LDP's poor performance in the national elections, taking responsibility for the party's failures and the public's loss of confidence. After he left, the LDP had another issue. Their longtime partner in government, the Komeito Party, decided to leave the coalition. Komeito had worked with the LDP for 26 years, forming a strong alliance. But they were worried about the LDP's new political direction and how they handled the money scandals. This made the government even weaker and created more uncertainty for Japan, leaving the LDP without a clear majority to govern. 3. A new government. Sanae Takaichi had to form a new government. Her party, the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, lost its old partner, the Komeito Party. Komeito left because they did not like Takaichi's very conservative ideas. They also worried about LDP money scandals. This made it difficult for Takaichi to become prime minister. Other parties had more seats than the LDP, but could not agree on one leader. This gave Takaichi a chance to find a new partner. She quickly talked with the Japan Innovation Party. The JIP is another conservative party. On October 20, 2025, the LDP and JIP made a deal. This last-minute agreement helped Takaichi get enough votes to lead the country. This alliance was surprising to many. The two parties agreed on important things. Both wanted a stronger military for Japan. They also supported changing Japan's peace constitution. Stricter rules for immigration were another shared goal. The JIP also wanted fewer parliament seats and free high school education. However, they did not agree on everything. Takaichi wanted the government to spend more money to help the economy, but the JIP wanted less government spending and lower taxes. They also could not agree on banning political donations from companies, a big issue after recent scandals. The Japan Innovation Party chose not to send its members to Takaichi's cabinet. They will help pass laws but stay outside the main government jobs. This shows they want to keep their own identity and distance from the LDP. This new government is not very strong. The LDP and JIP together hold 231 seats in the 465-seat House of Representatives. This is 2 seats less than a clear majority. So, Takaichi will need support from other small groups to pass new laws. Many political experts think this government might not last long. They say it could be one of Japan's shortest governments due to its weak position. 4. Her early life. Sanae Takaichi was born on March 7, 1961. Her hometown was Nara Prefecture in Japan. Her family was not involved in politics. Her father worked for a car company connected to Toyota. Her mother was a police officer in Nara. This was a normal middle-class family. It was different from many Japanese politicians' families who often come from old political families. Sanae showed a strong will from a young age. She could go to famous private universities in Tokyo, but her parents would not pay for these if she left home or chose a private university. They said no because she was a girl. So she went to Kobe University instead. She traveled for 6 hours every day to get there. This long journey did not stop her. It made her even stronger. During her time at university, Sanae had interesting hobbies. She played drums in a heavy metal band. She played with a lot of energy. She even carried 4 drumsticks in case some broke during shows. Her favorite bands were Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden. Their music was strong and rebellious, just like her spirit. Even today, she still has electric drums at home. She plays them to relax after her husband is asleep. Sanae also loved riding motorcycles. She owned a Kawasaki Z400 GP. She rode it until 1993. That was the year she started in politics. Pictures from her youth show her with pink hair and riding on 2 wheels. This was a striking look, very different from the politician she later became. Her hairdresser of 30 years remembered that when she joined the LDP party in 1996, they cut her hair short. This haircut became known as the Sanae cut and showed her new determination. Her learning about politics started in the United States. In 1987, she had an internship there. She worked for a Democratic Congresswoman, Pat Schroeder. This helped her learn about American politics and how laws were made. When she came back to Japan in 1989, she worked as a TV Asahi anchor. She co-hosted programs and learned good communication skills. These experiences helped her prepare for her future in public life. 5. Her job in politics. Sanae Takaichi began her work in politics in 1993. She was elected to Japan's parliament from her home area, Nara. At first, she ran as an independent, meaning she was not part of a big political party. Later, in 1996, she joined the Liberal Democratic Party, known as the LDP. She quickly became a strong and important member of the party. This was quite special, as many politicians in Japan come from families already involved in politics, but Sanae Takaichi did not. She gained good experience early on. She spent time in the United States in 1987 learning about American politics. After that, she worked as a TV news anchor for a few years. This helped her to learn how to speak well in public, which is very important for a politician. A key person in her career was former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. He became her mentor, a guide who taught her much about politics. She was one of his most loyal supporters. With his help, Sanae Takaichi held many different jobs in the government. She was the Minister of Internal Affairs and Communications from 2014 to 2016. She also worked on areas like economic security and even gender equality. During her time as a minister, she sometimes caused debate. For example, she once talked about asking TV stations to follow the government's views, which worried some people about press freedom. Sanae Takaichi had always wanted to lead the LDP. She tried to become the party president twice before, in 2021 and 2024, but she did not win those times. However, she did not give up. In October 2025, she ran again. This time, her hard work paid off. She won the final vote against Shinjiro Koizumi. This made her the first woman ever to become the leader of the Liberal Democratic Party in its long 70-year history. Her victory was a big moment for her and for Japanese politics. 6. Her plans for Japan. Sanae Takaichi had strong ideas for Japan's future. She openly admired Margaret Thatcher, who was the first female Prime Minister of the UK. Takaichi saw Thatcher as a powerful leader who broke barriers in a world run by men. Like Thatcher, Takaichi is a conservative politician who believes in a strong national identity. Takaichi's economic plan was known as Saneanomics. This plan aimed to help Japan's economy grow and overcome its long period of slow growth. She believed the government should spend a lot of money to boost the economy. She also supported cutting taxes and giving financial aid to families and businesses that were struggling. Takaichi wanted the central bank to keep interest rates low. Her goal was to create demand-pull inflation, meaning prices would rise because people had more money to spend and wanted to buy more goods. This was different from simply rising costs of making things. However, some economists were concerned. They warned that these policies could make Japan's already rising inflation even worse. Many Japanese people were already worried about higher prices for daily goods, especially food. On social issues, Takaichi held very traditional beliefs. She did not support new laws that would allow married couples to choose different last names. She felt this would harm Japan's traditional family values. She also stated her opposition to same-sex marriage, explaining it did not fit within the current constitutional rules. In 2023, she was the only government minister to speak against a bill that aimed to stop unfair treatment of LGBTQ+ people in Japan. She thought the word discrimination was too unclear in the bill. Takaichi also believed that only male members of the imperial family should become emperor, holding firm to long-standing customs. Regarding people entering Japan, Takaichi wanted stricter rules. During her campaign, she often spoke about some tourists who she said did not follow rules in her hometown. She promised to put in place tougher regulations for these rule-breaking tourists and immigrants. This message appealed to some voters who were worried about the number of foreign residents. However, Japan's population is getting older and smaller. This means the country needs more foreign workers to support its economy. Takaichi will need to balance her strict immigration promises with Japan's real need for more people to work. These plans clearly showed Takaichi's vision for a more traditional yet economically active Japan. 7. Japan and other countries. Sanae Takaichi has clear ideas for Japan's foreign policy. She believes Japan needs a much stronger military. She wants to increase spending on defense to 2% of its national money by 2027. This would be a significant increase for Japan. She also believes Japan's self-defense forces should be able to strike back if attacked. She wants to change the constitution to clearly allow Japan to have its own military forces, moving away from its post-war pacifist stance. Managing the relationship with the United States will be a crucial task for Takaichi. President Donald Trump is the current leader of the U.S. He wants Japan to spend even more on its military than Takaichi plans. The U.S. Pentagon suggests Japan spend 5% of its money on defense, which is more than double current spending. This would be a difficult demand for Japan. However, President Trump has praised Takaichi, calling her wise and strong. Takaichi hopes to build a close relationship with Trump, similar to former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. She is scheduled to meet with President Trump during his visit to Japan in late October 2025. Takaichi takes a very tough stand on China. She sees China as a threat to global order and has accused Beijing of undermining international rules. Her historical views, including visits to a special shrine honoring war dead, have caused strong criticism from China. However, economic reality makes Takaichi's strong stance more complex. China is Japan's largest trading partner. Many big Japanese companies, like Toyota, do much business there. So, Takaichi must find a way to balance her strong opinions with Japan's important economic ties to China. She is also a very strong supporter of Taiwan. Takaichi clearly believes that if Taiwan faces an emergency, it is also an emergency for Japan. She made this clear during a visit to Taiwan in April 2025, where she met with its president. She stated that countries with similar values should unite for security. This strong position aligns with U.S. interests, but risks making Beijing angry and could increase tensions. Takaichi's firm commitment shows that Taiwan Strait issues are key for Japan's strategic plans. 8. Conclusion. Sanae Takaichi's election as Japan's first female prime minister marks a truly historic moment for the nation. She has achieved what no woman before her could, breaking a very high barrier in a country known for its traditional male leadership. However, her time as leader begins with many complex and difficult challenges. One significant challenge comes from her own views on women's rights. While she is a woman in the highest office, she often opposes policies that would empower other women. For example, she is against married couples choosing to keep separate surnames, believing it harms traditional family values. She also does not support same-sex marriage. Many feel that her historic rise might not bring the gender equality changes that some hope for in Japan. Japan itself faces deep-seated problems that Takaichi must urgently address. The economy is struggling, with inflation causing prices to rise sharply. The cost of food, like rice, has almost doubled, making daily life harder for many families. This rice crisis has made people very angry. Another critical issue is Japan's rapidly aging population. Birth rates are at their lowest point in history, and the number of elderly people is growing fast. This creates huge pressure on the social security system and means fewer young workers to support the economy. The population is shrinking every year, which is a serious, quiet emergency for the country's future. Her new government also starts from a position of weakness. Takaichi had to form a last-minute coalition with the Japan Innovation Party to secure enough votes. Even with this partnership, her government falls short of a full majority in parliament. This means she will need to constantly seek support from other parties to pass any new laws, making her administration inherently unstable. Her relationship with other countries is also key. The current president of the U.S., Donald Trump, has praised Takaichi, calling her a person of great wisdom and strength. He expects Japan to increase its defense spending significantly. Takaichi, who wants to make Japan's military much stronger, might align with this. But her strong stance against China and firm support for Taiwan could create tough diplomatic situations and increase regional tensions. The future for Takaichi's government remains very uncertain. She must navigate a weak political position while facing major domestic issues and complex foreign policy demands. Can she successfully lead a fragile government through these long-standing national problems? Or will her term as Prime Minister be brief, like several leaders before her who could not overcome Japan's deep challenges? What are your thoughts? Do you believe Sanae Takaichi can truly lead Japan towards a better future?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.